Sara comes with pack damage herself while being able to boost team's attack, which makes her a valuable character if you decide to build her. Sara comes with pack electro damaging capabilities, in which you're going to be using her mainly for boosting attack for your characters. And by being into the Crow Feather state, which is enabled by using her elemental skill, and then which you initiate charge attack, which causes a delayed explosion damage. And your main focus is to be in the radius of the explosion for the character to gain this attack boost. This mechanic seems very overwhelming at first, especially because the radius is very small, and which you're not going to be able to hit it, especially if you're using your phone. And as a player like myself who doesn't like to focus too much and just want to switch characters and deal damage very comfortably, this mechanic does actually become a hassle until it becomes more natural over time. And also with her passive talent that allows charged aim shot to have 60% decreased time. But her second constellation allows extra Crow Feather to be applied at the location of Sara when she uses her elemental skill, which makes it so that you don't need to worry about charge attacks, leaving the Crow Feather to apply the attack buff to your other characters, making this constellation a really good one for players that want to play Genshin comfortably. But besides all this, her burst actually comes with attack buff capability without worrying about the Crow Feather, which makes this elemental burst really good at both increasing attack and doing damage at the same time. However, the attack buff you get from her elemental skill or burst is going to be one at a time, so these attack buffs won't stack together. But the duration of time in which the attack buff you gain is going to be only 6 seconds. But being able to do it with her elemental skill and burst makes it so that you can utilize this attack buff consistently. And also her burst damaging capability is pretty insane, dealing this type of damage as a 4-star, and her 6th constellation makes her one of the best electro support for electro main characters, making Sara one of the best support for King.
克勤 It's like an sound at the back of your throat instead of 克勤
Kaching. Not to mention Beidou, which does insane burst damage over time, and being able to give extra 60% crit damage to her is going to be insane for her tight collar. But to be fair to Raiden summoners, she becomes one of the best support for Raiden as you're looking to do massive DPS with her, as her burst enables her to be doing massive electro damage with her sword that comes out of the heart. But the main focus to do all this is to make sure you build Sara the right way. The cheapest way but more of an efficient way to build her is going to be with energy recharge weapons, as these weapons allow Sara to use her burst more effectively because of how costly her burst is. But one main thing to look at is how the attack buff scales, as the attack buff you get from her skill and the burst is going to be just like how Bennett gives his attack buff, which is the base attack, and the base attack is the attack you gain from ascending the character and the base attack from the weapon. The weapons that gives the highest amount of base attack is the Skyward Harp, followed by other 5-star weapons, which are all nice bows to have for damage and also increasing attack for other characters. Battle Pass weapon and the Black Cliff are both viable options, but the two bows that come in mind with high base attack is the Black Cliff and the Sacrificial Bow, whether you're looking for more of a damage build or for energy recharge. Free to play option with Prototype is very much viable with her because of the attack percent boost, with her charge attack when you hit opponents on weak points, and the weapon you choose will decide which way you want to go with artifacts. The 4-piece artifact bonuses you want to consider are the 4-piece Noblesse and the 4-piece Emblem. The 4-piece Noblesse is going to be great as you're looking to use her burst more often and also further increase damage for all party members. And the Emblem set is very much viable due to the fact that energy recharge build with Sara is going to help her deal more damage with the burst while being able to use it more often. But if you want to go with traditional build for Sara, then going for 2-piece Thundering Fury along with 2-piece Gladiator, Shimenawas, or Noblesse is going to be great, or you can opt in for 2-piece Emblem for the energy recharge. One thing to consider when going for artifact and weapon builds without using energy recharge is going to be using additional electro character by your side. In this way, the extra energy particles will help her use her max damage burst capabilities more often. This leads to what artifact stats to look for. For the sands, go for either attack percent or energy recharge. For the cup, electro damage bonus, and for the hat, crit rate or crit damage. The main substats to look for is going to be energy recharge, crit rate, crit damage, and attack percent. For my Sara, she is level 90, max ascended. For the weapon, she used Skyward Harp and Amos Bow. With Skyward Harp, I equipped her with 2-piece Noblesse and 2-piece Gladiator. And for the attributes, and also I ran her with 2-piece Thundering Fury with 2-piece Noblesse with the Amos Bow. and this is the attributes with this artifact set. For the constellation, she is C1. For the talents, she has 6 on the E and 8 on the Q. Generally for me, I like her burst damage just as much as her attack buff, but note that as you level up the E skill, the more attack buff she'll give, and so leveling these two talents together will benefit your Sara the most. And I have noticed that she's really hard at getting energy unless you give up the E skill and use it only for energy regen, so the constellation 2 is going to help a bit for that situation. And running her with full DPS build like this was only possible because I used electro characters in my team for the resonance, and if she is just one electro character in the team, then I would have went with energy recharge build for her, especially because her passive talent also gives some more energy based on her energy recharge. But with another electro character, because this allows additional electro particles, which will benefit tremendously for her insane burst cost. This makes it so that she is actually one of the best support for electro characters if you main them, and if you decide to use her along with team comps without additional electro character in the team, you'll be missing out on burst management, which means you will see yourself having her in the team without using her insane damage from her burst as often as you want. This complication can be fixed if you decide to use massive energy recharge into your build. In this way you can obtain energy as fast as you can. Obviously if you have characters that gives energy to other party members, then you can build your Sara with more versatility. But Sara is both attack booster and sub DPS, and when looking at the current banner, clearly we need a healer here or the team won't work. Because Sara gives attack boost, I'll be taking Sucrose out. Even though Sucrose with Zingling and Raiden works great for the overloaded damage, you can just swap in Bennett here, and this team will allow energy regen for both Pyro and Electro, making this team work together. Taking Bennett out here and adding Jean or Sayu will do great too for the decreasing Electro resistance with Iridescent. But generally speaking, Sara will do great with any electro character by her side, and when she is in a situation with different characters without additional electro character, again it's very important to emphasize on energy recharge in this situation, because by herself it will be difficult to continuously use her burst as often as you want unless you have characters that gives energy regeneration. But having additional electro character with Sara will make you able to fully maximize damage potential with her, along with being able to use that max damage with artifact builds mainly focus on crit rate, crit damage, and attack percent. It will all depend on what characters you have currently and who you want to maximize damage with Sara. Sara overall gives additional attack boosting capabilities, and whether being able to dish out massive DPS numbers by herself, she seems like a character to consider investing in. Whether you just like her playstyle or her style, her art, her character design, she'll fit in well with your team. Just make sure you build her the right way so you can maximize DPS potential. I'll be having Raiden builds, so stay tuned for that. Consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on these upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. See you next time, my friend.